ready to go?
Yes, I am. I'm
Okay.
ready.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. All right, Doug's there. We are good to go.
Okay, I'll make a motion. We come back into live session.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
We're back in session. All right. After talking about this, none of us are comfortable with the 22 or 23 foot variance. Our feeling is that at very least, we're going to have to lose one bay out of that garage, and how that's addressed is up to the owner and architect. But we feel that there is a requirement of a greater setback than is being proposed. And so we have two options here, and I'll leave it up to the applicant to decide. We can either vote on what we have, and as I say, I don't believe that we will approve the zoning variance, or we can table this and you can work with staff to address the concerns that we've just stated. Do I have an applicant?
I have a question. Before Jared Howard speaks, I have a question for you. If you table this and you're asking for greater distance, in effect, a smaller zoning or a smaller variance,
Correct.
can you provide, I guess, more information on that in terms of what it is that you guys are looking for specifically, or are you simply asking for a revised design? Rather than going through multiple iterations, if we know what the board would be comfortable with, it might help.
Yeah, and I think I stated, and I'll state it again, the necessary variance for a 3-bay garage, leaving such a nominal distance between the property line and the new build is not, we were not comfortable with as
Understood.
a just general take. Effectively, what we're looking at is losing an entire bay for at least a frontage of a 2-car garage. Now, whether that becomes 2 tandems, and I understand the expense there, or just a 2-car garage, you know, that 8 or 9 feet, that losing that 3rd bay, I think we would get to a point of comfort there.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Now, I need clarification from you all, and that may be the owner or you. Would you
Agreed.
prefer a vote or a tabling?
And Mr. Sui, I just want to clarify procedurally. If they were to vote and they voted this down, you would then be able to appeal this to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and then if it didn't make it through the Zoning Board of Appeals, ultimately to Common Pleas Court. But what they're suggesting is, instead of getting to that point where you vote, you try to revise the plans, then you can come back in front of us without having to reapply or go through any of those steps.
Okay. Is Jared Howard still online, the owner?
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. So I guess what is the primary concern? Is it the fact that it impedes neighbor's light, or is it the aesthetic? And is it possible today to get a conditional approval just for the additional work other than the garage, right? Because there was other pieces in the plan and other variances requested that are independent of the garage, and whether
Let me ask Mr. Owen. We have a certificate of appropriateness and zoning relief. Is there, can you go through the zoning relief exclusive of the rear yard setback? Is there anything other than the rear yard setback? Mr. Owen?
All right, sorry, I couldn't unmute myself. The rear yard setback variance is only related to the garage. The other two variances, one is for the wall height and the other is for the wall opacity. So theoretically, you know, the variance is for the wall. I guess David can correct me if I'm wrong, but those could proceed now with the other being tabled, or I don't know how that works legally, but yeah, the dimensional variance for the rear yard setback is only related to the garage.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Mr. Howard?
Yes, it does. And so I think from my perspective, I think what we'd be looking at is tabling the variance with respect to the garage, but asking that the board still move forward and approve the other two variance requests.
I think that still leaves the certificate of appropriateness hanging though, and I'm not sure how to deal with that.
Yeah, I don't see how we split it apart.
Okay.
Mr. Howard, I think what I think that, at least from my perspective, the other items were not as concerning, but I think Ms. McKenzie is correct. We're going to have a very difficult time trying to bifurcate this without a full understanding of what the final product is going to be. So I think
If it helps Mr. Howard, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, if it helps Mr. Howard, some of us aren't comfortable with the wall either. So there's a couple pieces going on here that I think we need to see them in concert to see how it all kind of folds together. And that's why I stated earlier, I think for me, it would be difficult to separate the two.
well,
Thank you, Mr. Velasco. Just to further tease that out, because we haven't really talked about that, can you explain your concerns about the wall? Because it is separate and apart from the garage, but we haven't really talked about that today. And I would be very interested in understanding your concerns.
It's uncharacteristic and it's 3 feet too tall for that neighborhood.
Okay.
So this is a tough one. We appreciate it. We appreciate what you're trying to do. We're, glad to see somebody trying to do something there. But we're kind of weighing all factors, the neighborhood, how you fit into it. You're on a transition zone between a residential neighborhood and an area that, is commercial, sort of.
so Mr. Howard, I'm going to throw it back to you. We can vote on the project today, and you have a very good indication of what the board's going to do, or we can vote to table this and give you an opportunity to work with staff to try to address the concerns that we've raised.
So we will table it and we will take it back to staff and talk with staff and work with them on how we can adjust and hopefully, reach a consensus that the board would find acceptable.
Mr. Owen, Ms. Johnson, do you need greater clarity from the board? Or have you heard what our concerns are?
I think I understand the concerns. I'll let Mr. Owen ask if he has any other questions.
Yeah, I believe I'm clear on the direction as well.
All right, then I will make a motion that we table this.
Second.
All right, Mr. Sunderman?
Aye.
Ms. Dobbins? Mr. Zelasco?
Aye.
Mr. Weiss?
Aye.
Ms. McKenzie?
Aye.
I vote aye. Item number 4 is tabled. This brings us to item number 5, 815 Dayton Street. Ms. Johnson?
Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out which screen is there. Okay. Sorry, I had to figure out which screen was what. So 815 Dayton Street is within the Dayton Street Historic District. This application is for a garage as well. This is at the rear of the property though. This is a unique property in that the alley is called a street because it was at one time a street. However, it is technically an alley because it does not meet the definition of a street per the zoning code. So while it still says Nair Street, it is an alley. And it is an alley that, as you can see by the pictures, have a lot of two-story carriage house garages on the rear. The property that we are looking at is 815 Dayton Street, which obviously fronts Dayton Street, and then this is on the back. This is the current situation at the back, obviously is a non-contributing building. So there is kind of a two-part request. There's obviously the demolition of what's there and then the rebuild of a new carriage house. And so with that, there is also some zoning relief that's required because it is considered an accessory structure. And so per the accessory structure standards of the zoning code, it is limited to 800 square feet. As it is a two-story carriage house accessory structure, it is larger at 10,050 square feet, so they do need a variance to increase the size. The maximum height, if you looked at the adjudication letter, there was a different variance that was required, and that was due to staff's mistake. I was measuring the height from the alley and not actually the grade. There is a grade change on the property from the front to the rear. So the height variance is just very minimal. It's just less than a foot required for the height variance. And then there is a variance for the side and rear yard property line, so that it is going property line to property line on both sides and at the rear. And so it does need 3 feet variance for either of, for all of those property lines. So as I said, Dayton Street is a historic district that has a lot of alley facing garages. What the proposal is very much in keeping with the architecture of the building and architecture of the neighborhood. So this is what would be off of the alley. And so they're proposing very simple brick detailing with a 2-car wide garage, simple openings, metal roof, and just very classic, simple detailing. I go to so here you can see there's this grade differential. So the height is actually taken from the grade here, which is the same grade as the front of the yard, not actually from the rear yard. So that was staff's mistake. And then the applicant is asking for windows here, entrance off of the rear or in the property. So off of the front of the accessory, but in the rear of the house. And so this will be what is facing the house. And then the other side. So staff is supportive of all of the requested variances and the certificate of appropriateness. This is very much in keeping with the architecture of the neighborhood, as well as keeping with this 2-story form of these carriage houses along the street. This little section of Naher is actually probably one of the most consistent areas where we still have these 2-story garages. And so kind of reintroducing that form onto the alleyway is helping to keep the character and the condition of the alleyway useful and in keeping with the neighborhood. So staff is supportive of the demolition of the non-contributing garage that is currently there, as well as the accessory structure. And so staff does recommend zoning relief per a plan submitted by Sarah Eshelman Architect, dated 10/8/2020, for a 250 square foot variance for a accessory structure that is 10,050 square feet, to approve a variance for height of 0.95 feet, to provide for a height that is 15.95 feet, and to approve 3-foot variances on the side and rear to provide for 0 lot line structure, as well as approve a certificate of appropriateness for the demolition of a non-contributing accessory structure and the construction of an accessory structure at the rear of the property per plan submitted by Sarah Ashelman Architect LLC dated 10/8/2020 with the following condition, that the building permit must be issued within 2 years or the COA shall expire.
Thank you. And do we have an applicant?
Hi, I'm Sarah Ashleman. I just wanted to briefly make a correction to the square footage. I think Beth
Hold on
said,
just a second. Can we go ahead and get you sworn in?
sure.
Will you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Absolutely, yes. Ms. Johnson said 10,050 square feet. I believe it's 1,050 square
Okay,
feet.
that's a big garage.
I apologize, yes.
Yes, other than that, I'm just here to answer questions.
Thank you for the clarification. I got lost there. I was trying to figure out, it's 100 by 100? Anyway, all right. Questions from the board for the staff or applicant? All right, we do have Ingrid and Clay Jones signed up. Do you have anything you would like to add?
Did you hear us on that?
Now we hear you.
Okay, we don't have anything to say unless there are any questions from the board.
All right,
And it's not a 10,000 square foot garage, I promise. We don't have 12 cars.
got it. All right, that's everybody who signed up. Any questions from the board on this matter or comments? All right, then I move that we approve the certificate of appropriateness and zoning relief as laid out by staff.
Second.
All right, Mr. Sunderman,
Aye.
Ms. Smith-Dobbins,
Yes.
Mr. Zelasco,
Aye.
Mr. Weiss,
Yes.
Ms. McKenzie.
Aye.
I vote aye. Item number 5 is approved. All right, Ms. Johnson, we have the October staff approvals. Anything else in other business?
Not for today.
All right. And you want a motion and a vote to approve what you have done without our knowledge and consent?
That's what you guys are trusting me to do for staff approvals.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the staff approvals from October of 2020.
Second.
All right, Mr. Sunderman,
Aye.
Ms. Smith-Dobbins,
Yes.
Mr. Zelasco,
Aye.
Mr. Weiss,
Yes.
Ms. McKenzie.
Aye.
I vote aye. The staff approvals are approved. Do we have any other business for today?
No.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn, and before I do that, I want to thank everybody. I know I'm not fond of Zoom meetings. The sooner we get done with this stuff, the better, as far as I'm concerned, but I appreciate everybody's patience. So with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Aye.